Hello everyone, this is Anad Stanton. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Wherever you are in the world today, the world has changed and it's changing very fast, ongoingly. I had a coaching conversation last week and just thought I'd share with you a little bit of the insights that were gained in regard to the change of working from home and especially working on the computer in comparison to face to face. So this particular client is used to working with her clients face to face, and obviously now being self-isolating at home and working from home, noticed that her body was feeling very drained, and she felt a lot of energy that she would normally have in face-to-face conversations that was the vitality wasn't quite as strong as normal, which concerned her. So one of the things is when it comes to working from home and being online is to make sure that you're in your flow in a way that actually serves you. So generally you have a lot of, when it comes to face, there are a lot of cues, there's a lot of expressions, there's a lot of interaction, and the same is, it is generally the same when it comes to face through the computer as well. Yet there's something about when you're highly intuitive, when you're a creative, when you are the type of person, and sometimes you might even not know, you'll just have a sense of, I'm drained in energy and I don't know why, and I haven't done anything out of the normal that's any different to my way of work, whether it's on a computer. Now, the thing with computers is there's a higher energy and vibration coming from the computer. So you just might be draining your energy if you're not observing and conserving your own energy. So one of the things, so for example, as a coach, I know how often to coach face-to-face. I know how often to coach online face-to-face, and also over the phone it's over the phone. There's all totally different energies that come through at the time when it comes to especially a higher vibration of the computers. So just tap into that. So one of the things is, she said, I've just had 4 back-to-back clients, wouldn't think anything normal of that, in comparison to working in an office. And she just, as we were able to talk about this and help her to restructure the working environment in a way that she was connecting with her body and feeling her way through. So one of the things that she realised is how hard she was being on herself and had expectations on having the same routine as she would in an office, as per at home. And I've spoken to a couple of people who are also employed by major organisations on what they're noticing is how they actually get their needs met, what actually creates motivation and a good energy and wanting to do the next project. It's the conversing, all those sorts of things. So this is an opportunity to go inward and really reflect on, firstly, noticing how you're feeling. Because a lot of the time, if you're in automatic, and a lot of the time you might be getting your needs met based on adrenaline and don't even know it. So now that you're at home, you're unraveling and it takes a while. So it's like I notice when my husband's business, he generally works away from the home office. I've been working in a home office for over 25 years. So I understand the different energies and the different dynamics of what it takes, working on the computer, working for yourself, working behind, in the isolation stage of how that works. So my husband, when he first, his business stopped ultimately because he's in the events industry. So that was one of the first to go. And he noticed that in the first week, he didn't feel like doing anything. And that's not like him at all. He wasn't motivated. He was, he didn't have any real particular, because he had no particular projects to focus in on, right? So it meant, I just said to him, I said, just relax, just give yourself time. It's like going on holidays. It takes a week or 2 just to unwind, and then to be able to notice by allowing the body to talk to you and guide you as to what your next steps are, right? So this particular client who used to work for major organisations that I'm talking about, in the corporate sector, said that she's set up her business now from her home base exactly the way she would in the corporate sector, 8 o'clock to 5:30, 6 o'clock, behind closed doors in her home office, right? And I literally said, how's it working for you? And she said she feels guilty and feels lazy if she's not putting in those hours like what she used to when she worked as a CFO in a major organisation. Okay? Yet she felt drained, totally drained. So one of the things that I really encourage each and every one of you to do, let's look at these areas in 3 ways. Number 1 is to allow your body to communicate to you. Go in and feel what's really going on for yourself. If you need some space and time just to let go, unravel, I'm not talking about not being responsible, because most of the time we're over responsible. Yeah? And the more we're at home, the more we're able to come in and really reflect on. But if you've got the to-do list going on and you expect yourself just to pick up where you left off, the fact is you might not be on the right path. This might be a wake-up call for you to do things differently, right? As per what this, client of mine was telling me last week in our coaching conversation. Yet all she knew was coming from her head logic, from here up, right? And that was her habitual way of life, being a high achiever, her way of doing business as a high achiever, right? It's like full on, not at all, full on, not at all. But the thing is, it's listening into what your body's intelligence is guiding you to do. If you need to rest, rest. If you know you need to be doing a particular project or starting, something, or working with a client, then you will have that natural energy, natural vitality that will take you into that conversation, that project, that focus point, whatever needs to take place. But if you're pushing yourself, the word that she used, she felt, really demotivated, not energized. It was like she was doing the do. I'm just doing it, automatic, but not really feeling, what she truly felt. And then spoke to the feelings based on what she needed to do for herself that neutralized and created a balance. And this is what we call being in alignment. Being in alignment is all about your mind, your body, your heart and soul connected with the action that you're taking in this moment. But if you're coming from here up, it's a head, should. And this is what she was saying to herself a lot. Well, I really should do this and I really have to do this. And it was just exhausting. And this is what was draining her. So some of the things that we were talking about, I'm just reading some of the notes that we reflected on, was letting go of the old structure and really identifying what she is naturally doing now in her work life, in her personal life, that, fills her cup up. What is she doing that she knows that is a natural energy resource that carries her into the next, And this takes time to get to know. It's allowing yourself space, especially working from home. It's allowing yourself the space to be able to move away from the old model, the old corporate business model of 8 to 5, 6, whatever the hours are for you. And we call it, a lot of us are working 24/7 now, right? We're all switched on, which is great. And yes, it's a new and valid model. Now, if in that case, what's important is to listen into the flow. And that was the next area that we going with the flow. Going with the flow doesn't mean be lazy, sit back and do nothing. But it's listening in to what your next inspired step is. And if it says, get outside, go for a walk around the block because I just feel drained right now and I'm feeling overwhelmed and I'm feeling just whatever, especially with what's happening with the world today, you're going to feel all sorts of emotions. And that's normal. These are meant to come up for you to actually reevaluate your, the business model, the life model, how you want to set up the structures that are right for you from here on end, The different working models. So I like to call it living and working in your zone. So it's like one of the other things that we talked about is taking the pressure off, right? And know when you're doing, the other thing we talked about was ADT, accountability deferment tactic. See, a lot of the times when we put pressure on ourselves, I'll say that again because my client just mentioned last week. Can you say that again? So it's ADT, Accountability Deferment Tactic. It's something, this is an acronym that my coach taught me many, many years ago. It's getting to know when you are self-sabotaging. And this is where the awareness comes in. Really get to know that side of, if you're pushing yourself and you know that it's just not working for you, then that's an accountability deferment tactic. Yeah. It means that accountability doesn't mean you push yourself at all costs. Accountability means doing the things that you know are of highest value and highest priority to you in this moment through listening in to your inner wisdom. What inspires you? What do you know your next steps are that are calling you, that are speaking loudly to you? But if you've got a to-do list, then you're not going to hear those voices. You're not going to hear the inspiration or feel it, right? And this is where natural energy comes from. So ultimately, it's connecting with those areas, and it's a totally new way of being. It's a totally new way of becoming consciously connected so that you can stay in alignment, and ultimately everybody else in the world, as well as yourself, we all as one collective can actually be in alignment and doing the work that is important to us, that has the world move in the direction that it's meant to. Yeah. So this is what I call a global vision. And this is what we're going through right now. We're going through a global vision change. So coming back to, at the end of our coaching conversation with my client last week, was, she just, when I asked what she was taking away, she felt like she'd re-energized herself just by taking the pressure off inside the conversation. So now, because of the habitual way, in her wise 50 plus years now, how does she then, as a high achiever, practice that? And that's the practice. It's a being patient with yourself. It's stop pushing yourself at all costs and listening in and take the next obvious step. That is being in the zone. Yeah? And that is where work and play become fluent. They become one, and you become a natural expression of your strengths, your gifts, your talents. Yeah? The areas that you know that you're here to express wherever you are in each moment, through your work life, through your career, through your business, through your relationships. Yeah. So if this is something that you would like any form of support with, then please feel free to reach out, have a conversation with me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. If you have any questions as well, then drop me a line and we can have a conversation about it. So this is Annette Stanton. Thank you very much for listening, and making sure that you stay, in your zone, living and working in your zone, so that your model, your corporate model, your business model, your personal model is a structure that fits for you and your values. Your vision, your values and goals are all in alignment that way. Have a great day. We'll speak soon. Thanks for connecting. Bye for now.